Good morning everybody and welcome back to the finale of the entire LEGO Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom wave. It's come to my attention that just a few of you watched the part finale, just a couple, just 80,000. And while I don't expect all of you to still be here now, today we get to look at the whole thing. That's right, the first time we looked at 10 sets and now we're taking a look at all 18. And I did promise you that they would all combine in different ways. So, we're going to run through the 8 sets and then talk about all these combinations and really wrap things up and talk about everything from cancelled sets to showing you all the figure groups and just really putting a bow on these 18 sets, the entire Tears of the Kingdom experience in LEGO form. So, the first 8 sets we're going to be taking a look at today are the ones that we didn't talk about last time, and that starts with Z079. This is the Seas Construct Knockout, based of course off the Spirit Temple battle with Minoru and the Seas Construct at the end of the 5th secret dungeon. This set includes a secret stone, as well as Link in his charge set and a ghost Minoru figure, but the main highlights are of course the constructs. Specifically here, I like Minoru's as well, specifically more than the Seas one. However, they can both attach a variety of weapons as if they were actually in the fight, making this a unique feature. And this is once again another feature that is expanded upon with Z0077, the Ultra Creativity Toolbox, but we'll come back to that later. Our next set was Z0080. This was the Queen Gibdo's Hive, featuring the Gerudo Desert section, as well as another secret stone and banner. This set was all based around the Lightning Temple and includes most of its build dedicated towards Queen Gibdo as a monster. Similarly, we also have a Gibdo Hive in this set, which can actually drop the Gibdos out by pressing on the top. Nice little play feature inclusion here, but otherwise a pretty simple set. The wings of Queen Gibdo, like a lot of the other boss attachments, can be removed and used on the various fuses throughout this wave, but otherwise this is another great addition to the collection. Next up we had Z0081 Lost Gorondia Showdown, based off the Fire Temple. Third set with the Secret Stone and second with the banner in a row. And this one of course is set in the depths and features a sprawling build for a playset with 3 main sections. Specifically we've got this one over here on the left, which is mimicking when a hydrant is poured on lava or any water-based item, creating platforms here out of lava rock that can then be combined and used as ramps for Yunobo or bridges for Link, just like how you do in one of the puzzles in the real Fire Temple. Why would we want to build ramps for Yunobo? Because he's in a sonic speed sphere in this set and therefore can be launched all over the place, knocking out enemies, and we'll be taking a closer look at that later on. In the other 2 sections we of course have Marbled Goma, one of the things that can be knocked off, and just below it a gong that can also be knocked to open up the bridge and let you into where the secret stone is hidden. Over on the far right we have minecart tracks. This one in particular can go up and down to give you access to different sections, and there's a chest hidden in this secret room as well as 2 other constructs in this set. Next up was Z0082. This is Sonia's Tea Time. This is the polybag of the wave, smallest set and most beloved polybag, another fan favourite here. This one just features Sonia at the dinner table, featured in one of the memory cutscenes, specifically the one where this little bowl here that's on the table gets dropped on the floor by Zelda, although she's not included in this set. We also have the wild berries in a basket, which is something we see a steward construct hiding in the scene, and this set actually combines with one we'll take a look at in just a minute to make an even bigger setup. Next up we had Z0083, this is the Depths Hideout Infiltration. This one again, another depth set based off the Yiga bases. We have 2 main builds here, one which is the Schematic Hut, making great use of a snot technique to build up this cliff face. We also have a little car build as well for your Yiga foot soldiers, and then over on the right we have like the main hut where the book and bananas are kept. And of course we've got a Yiga guarding it all, and as well as there being lots of attachment points for not only Link with his power glider, which came with this set, but combinations with Z0077, the Ultra Creativity Toolbox, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Then we had Bedrock Bistro Trouble, which is Z0084. This one going back to Elden Region, making it the only of the one of 2 regions, making it one of 2 of the 4 regions to actually get a second set, the other one being Hebra. And this one is based off the aforementioned Bedrock Bistro restaurant, where of course you can get your marbled rock roast or rock roast depending on where you are in the game. And this set also includes a giant cave with a Horriblin, and we've got Addison with his wobbly sign on top. While bringing this one up, I suppose it would be a good idea to mention that we actually made some upgrades to this set since you last saw it. I talked about these on my community tab, which is a great place to follow little updates to the CSS as they're going on. But in this case, base, I chose to add a little cooking pot for Link because we've got stuff like gore and spice and diamonds, which yes would make dubious food, but it was a shame to not have a place for Link to cook. And in this cooking pot's a really nice build. I particularly like the colour scheme of the dark tan and olive green as well. In addition to this, I also added a reversible facial expression on Cook the Goron, the cook here, to show him under possession of the marbled rock roast. So it's an alternate face for him that you can switch between. And then lastly, I actually forgot to add the stickers for the Hudson Company on Addison's signs. So you get to see those in their full glory now, a completely worthy addition. The next set that we have to take a look at, and our penultimate set, is the Zonai Construct Battle Pack Z085, and this is the one that actually connects with Sonia's Tea Time. Not only does this give you two constructs to army build, but also two Hylian Zonai warriors. Again, army build or just to have guarding the gazebo, because this gazebo could be seen as sort of like a war fortification, or more likely the picnic spot of Rara and Sonia, as we see in one of the memories. So combining these two sets either gives you that, or even a shrine to put your secret stone on if you just clear off Sonia's table, so that's great. In fact, I think it could even display all 8 of the secret stones if you were careful about the layout, because that table is a 6-wide surface. So yeah, you could actually use this as your display for all of the secret stones. But we're getting sidetracked. The rest of this set includes a little banner on a vinyl piece and a crate full of rockets and a portable pot, which are also seen in a different memory as the Zonai prepare for war. The last set was the most recent one, and one that you're pretty familiar with, and this is Z086, the Demon Dragon Jewel. This one, of course, featuring the Demon Dragon and the Light Dragon together, both suitably scaled down, as well as a variety of play features. The Demon Dragon has a launcher to shoot balls of gloom, as well as a removable spot on his forehead for you to place a secret stone and then smash it off. Of course, the mouth opens, but there's also some compartments in the main body, and these compartments can fit Ganondorf and Phantom Ganondorf as if that's who's sort of controlling or powering the dragon. Zelda Light Dragon also has one of these in the roof of her mouth, so that you can put the princess in there, again as if she can transform between the two. And this set also included 2 secret stones, specifically Zelda's one and then Ganondorf's Stone of Darkness, completing the collection. Oh, of course, it's worth mentioning that we also had Link included in a little diorama display for you to place her and Zelda on in the final catch position. So those are the 8 new sets, but just in case by some miracle you haven't seen the first part of this, let's just go over the other 10 sets very, very briefly. I promise it won't be detailed, and then we can get straight into the combinations. So first up we had Z069, this was Arakuda Ambush based off Hebra, Z0070, Zora's Dorain Muktarok Menace based off the Zora questline, Z0071, the Depths Defying Master Koga based off the first Koga fight in the Depths, Z0072, also from the Depths, this was the Frox mining encounter with Jumpable Frox, Z0073 was another organic creature, this was King Gleok Clash, 774 was the Great Sky Island, 75 was Lookout Landing, and 76 its companion set, Secret Cave Discovery, 77 was the one we've talked about a lot today already, this is the Ultra and Creativity Toolbox, and 78 even was the legendary Stormwind Arc, capping off Wave 1. That's 18 huge sets that are all tied together and interconnected in more ways than you would think. And as a whole, they build up the entirety of the LEGO Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom collection and recreate so many moments from the games. Before we just get into talking about the wave gimmicks, I just wanted to quickly go over another couple of updates to the first half set. This is Z077, the Ultra and Creativity Toolbox, and as a comment suggestion, it was suggested that I add the tails to the homing carts. So we did that. It's a little bit of fun, it makes them look more like cutesy, and I really like how they turned out. So yeah, homing carts have the tails now. Very cool, very pleased with how they look. That's just a quick update. Similarly to Z072, we have the Obsidian Frox. Similarly to what I did in Wave 3 with the Hinox beach encounter, the Frox here is coming in multiple colours like what LEGO did, where they release sets in multiple colours so that you pick your favourite. So that works perfectly for a lot of these enemies. So here we have the normal Frox and the Obsidian Frox coming out at the same time as each other. The rest of the set's entirely the same, it's just a colour swap, quite literally. The impetus behind doing this is because I'm trying to make the Frox a real life build at the moment, and you may have seen that on my community tab to mixed success. At the moment he was breaking, however I can now confirm that it's fixed, and look how well it's working. The jumping feature, which I was quite worried about, it works great, which is actually going to contribute to a big change. A while back we also did a tier list of every custom set I've ever done, and we got some position changes. Specifically, the Frox set is being moved up to Love It The Way It Is. It was previously in the Still Great tier. This is just to represent that I think that play feature is really solid, and I'm really impressed with the sculpting on this creature. Similarly, the Master Koga set is also going up to Love It The Way It Is. It's a nice little £10 set. It really fills its brief really well, and I just love it. It's perfect, so I don't need to have it in just Still Great. I think at the time I was worried about being too positive or skewing too many sets towards the top of that tier list, so that's probably why, or like even recency bias, because the sets were quite new at that point, so I potentially was a little harsh on them. But anyway, we're moving them up to Love It The Way It Is. We're moving Seized Construct, well, not moving it, Seized Construct was always supposed to be in Firstborn Child, the top tier. They're my literal Firstborn Child, because it's perfect set. I absolutely love the concept, it translates to Lego really well, and it looks cool when it's done. The Ultra and Creativity Toolbox and the Demon Dragon are currently in between Love It The Way It Is and literal Firstborn Child. I can't quite decide. I feel Demon Dragon has more chance to make it into that top tier just because it's such a good set, but also Ultra and Creativity Toolbox is so important despite being initially seemingly boring that again, I kind of debate. I think I'm going to leave them in Love Them The Way They Are right now, but they could always go up. Let me know what you think down below. The Sonia Polybag, Temple of Time, Lost Gorondia, and the Depth Base. Yes, I know Temple of Time wasn't in this wave, but they're all going in Love It The Way It Is. And the Gibdo Hive, as well as the Construct Battle Pack, are going into Still Great. No need to explain my reasonings there. Okay, into the biggest slice of this video and the reason you guys are all here, to see these sets all come together and a big combination. These are the wave gimmicks, the stuff you buy them for and what you can do when you buy more than one set. Let's start up with a brand new one, the one you didn't see in part 1, although all of them have been expanded. We have the Yunobo shooting feature. This one was hinted at in the last video, however now here it is completely implemented. Of course, we've talked about the idea that in his own set, Lost Gorondia Showdown, you can launch him at the constructs and that gong target to make them knock down and fall over. But that's not it, because if you use your other sets in the wave, many of them have been designed with Yunobo in mind and turn into mini shooting galleries when you have him and his speed sphere involved. So let's see a couple of those setups. The first one up is Erakuda Ambush. This is one of the earlier custom sets, and you can see that it's built up with a variety of different platforms here. I have not included the boat for the simplicity here, but the Erakuda has been loosely attached to its branch, meaning he could be knocked down, and of course you can position the constructs all around this model, even on the angle, and Yunobo will go careening through them, making a little bit of a skill challenge because you've got to aim a little bit higher, but then also to hit that wonky one, which is kind of protected by the bar. But anyway, you can have fun shooting Yunobo at these variety of enemies. Less so, but also to some extent, Zora's Domain Muckrock Menace was also designed with this in mind, specifically the lower ground section, where I really like to imagine Yunobo like sort of rolling up that broken down wall segment that you can see over on the back right there. You've also got the little ledge where you could have a figure, and of course the water space before. I've actually even brought the Gloomed hands down and put them in front because I like to think that they're sort of hinge up by the hand portion would be able to like get launched backwards, so you could even put say Link in the Gloom hand grasp, then launch Yunobo at it and he might come flying out of it, which could be pretty cool. Interestingly, I reckon as well, this is just speculation, but if you hit Yunobo at the rockwork to the left where the fish are, not only would you murder some sea life and then collect some materials, but I reckon the vibrations might be enough to knock the construct and potentially Muktarok off their sky islands, making this more of a 3D experience. And of course, if you brought the ramps over, you could even put stuff in the monster cave on the surface, but a little more tricky there. We also have the Gleeok set, and you might be going, okay, Optin, really? You've built Yunobo into this set. This is a Gleeok model. Well, yeah, because the ball joints on his neck are obviously very flexible, meaning you launch Yunobo at those heads and you can knock them down just like when you knock them out, and you have to knock all 3 before he falls down to the ground and you can beat him. Yes, Yunobo was considered. Next up, Secret Cave Discovery, and of course its companion set Lookout Landing. We have in its base form, Secret Cave Discovery, you've got the Horoblins who can go all around the caves, and also the Like around the side, all of which can be hit with Yunobo, specifically the Horoblins carrying on the walls or even resting on those studs at the top, making for a nice variety of challenges. This one to me feels the most like a shooting gallery and was the one I was most eager to anticipate to add him into. But also when you add Lookout Landing on the top, obviously you get this ceiling for the Horoblins to climb over, which is still a really cool feature that I really love. And it just gives you a bit more variety, because not only of course can you put all these Bokoblins and Horoblins all around the cave on 360 degrees. I know I'm only showing you one angle, but you've also got the ability to just lay them out in front. You've got the boss Bokoblin at all these different heights, so you've got to keep moving it around and doing different power. It actually reminds me a lot of that Wind Waker mini game that we actually turned into a set, Salvatore's Sploosh Kaboom, but not Sploosh Kaboom, it's the other one, the pirate ship sinking one, where you have to adjust the angle on height. I don't know, feels similar, but obviously here with the Sonic Speed Sphere, which can be quite fiddly. We also have the Depths Hideout Infiltration. Again, this is another great one for Yunobo because you've got the vehicle to knock over, either knock the driver out or just take the entire vehicle out. We've got these crates and eager down by the main sort of cabin area, which could be knocked over. But you've also got 2 raised platforms over on the other section of the build where you would have to get a bit of an angle or a ramp up to get them to knock down or just hit it really hard. So again, a lot of different ways that Yunobo could interact with this one. Bedrock Bistro was one of the ones that was 100% intended from the beginning to feature Yunobo. Stuff like Depths Hideout just sort of naturally fell into it anyway, but Bedrock Bistro, before I even designed the set, I knew that this was going to be a thing. Specifically, of course, because of the mountainside. Similarly to Secret Cave Discovery, you can put Horoblins on the ceiling on the inside and then knock them down on the minecart track. You could even put someone in the minecart track and then send it like shooting back in for Yunobo to hit. But you've got all these studs on the top and along the outside for Yunobo to aim at. And you could even do a little bit of friendly fire and knock Addison's sign, because I reckon if you hit that, he would actually fall over and the sign would fall over as if you've done a bad job at his minigame, which I think is really cool. And it's also important to mention that there's plenty of cross-pollination between minifigures, and we'll be talking about this a little bit later on, but here you can see Secret Cave Discovery with a wide assortment of figures. We have Phantom Gunner from the Demon Dragon Attack, we've got the Gloom Hands from Zora's Domain, and the Ice Chew from the Storm and Dark, as well as a Captain Construct and the Hero of the Wild Link from the Gleeok set. And you can see here that Yunobo has been launched at this eclectic mix of characters that are all in different positions, and it's really showing you how customizable the Yunobo shooting gallery experience is, either set up for your friends or yourself in different positions for a challenge, see if you can make a trick shot. And here, of course, Yunobo has hit poor Link and he's gone absolutely flying out here. He was an easy shot down the bottom, although I'd like to see Yunobo try and get Phantom Ganondorf next. But that was just one of the way these sets interconnect, and you can see it's already quite expansive. Next up, we have the fuse combinations. Yes, that's right, I did 140 drawings just to prove a point. One of the most underlooked things, I think, in the original Wave 1 recap, Part 1 recap, I should say, was the fuse ability, where you can take anything that was a material or enemy part or even a Zonai device in these sets and connect them using the glue, either in Ultrahan Creativity Toolbox or provided in these sets, specifically I think to Secret Cave Discovery, and create your own fuses. This is something the kids would absolutely love, not just because it's silly, but because they do it already. They make like large guns, or they attach stupidly long things to minifigure hands to make them have these like crazy weapons or combinations. So yeah, this is a perfect feature, and of course it ties in exactly into the game. So across all the sets, I took all of the materials, devices, and random items like boulder, long stick, bow stick, cobble crusher stick, and I just showed every possible combination. It's not quite as many as the 120,000 that obviously are in the real game, but we've got everything from bright bloom shield to bomb shield to puff shroom spear to they go on. Basically all the materials so that were shown off in these sets: fire, ice, fruits, shock fruits, all 20 plus Zonai devices, mentioned stuff like the boulders, wooden planks, bow stored, long stick, as said, and then everything in between, everything you can think of, you can see them all on here. Some of them are absolutely crazy. The boss fuses as well. Colgera's Jaw is one of my favourites, the Gibdo Queen shield, and also the Goma's leg stick, which is crazy. But I drew one sword and one spear for each variant, and then I drew a shield for the ones where it felt relevant, like light shield and bomb shield and so on. So fuse, another ability that made its way into the custom set showcase, along with Ultra Hand and Ascend. We'll take a look at Ascend later, but we're going to move on to Ultra Hand now. Ultra Hand has always been sort of the standout feature from this set because it is literally Lego building, so of course it's going to be included in a wave like this. We're only going to focus on the coolest ones today, and I'm going to show you some of my personal favourites. Most of these are new, however some of them you've seen before, and they're ways specifically to use Z0077, the Ultrahan Creativity Toolbox, which includes at least one copy of every Zonai device, to create contraptions and enhance your other sets play, and you'll see some great examples of that. First example is just vehicles. You can take either these individual builds like the wings from Z077 and sort of customize and make your own vehicles, whether this being adding fans to the plane, or making a car, or adding like homing carts and construct heads to things, or making something more complicated, a hover bike. I think that's possible. It might be a little iffy connection wise, but and then obviously putting these vehicles in other sets, like maybe you send a homing cart off to kill Queen Gibdo. You can see that on your screen right now. Or maybe you fly a wing around Great Sky Island, or Zora's Domain, or even the Stormwind Arc as well. It just looks cool, right? Seeing all these different elements come together, and it really shows you that combinable play. But that's not it. Let's take a look at a couple more. We have the one I talked about in part 1 this time, but this time as a proper render. We have the stake on the Stormwind Arc, which you can see here. And this is just supposed to show you how you can take memories or puzzle solutions that are unique to your experience with Tears of the Kingdom and bring them into the sets. For me, in my No Paraglider run, I used stakes to get to the terminal inside the top of the Stormwind Arc, and Link climbed up them and then would stand on them. And using the Zonai pieces from Z0077, you can recreate that here and really make these sets feel lived in. I love that. It's great. Really, really nice addition there. It's really fun. That's not just it, because we also have the Koga car here from Z071, Master of Koga set, and I've upgraded his vehicle here with the wooden panels to protect him, and then even added the rockets to the side, completely souping it up and really transforming the play experience to make a more interesting battle. And of course, using Z077, you could even make a car for Link like the one in the trailer. You could add rocket shields to things. I got the example here with the King Gleok using a rocket shield to launch up to shoot him, but again, just adds an extra layer of play and stuff for kids to mess around with. Again, fuses. Really creative. We have a minecart contraption here in Los Gorondia's Showdown. This is sort of just like a modified version of the existing minecart, where we've added some lights and some fans and a shock emitter, all these different things, or sorry, beam emitter, to the front to just soup it up and change the play loop. Similarly, we've also got some other soup ups. Let's talk about the depth space first. This is probably the one I showed you in the video, but here it is. Basically, to this original set, I added like 3 vehicles. We've got the monocycle, we've got the fan plane, which the Eager actually do ride in the bases, and this is on the transparent rod where Link's paraglider would go, and they patrol around until you shoot them. But we've also got a car here, which came in the original set, but it's been souped up now with some emitters. And then of course we have that little box thing that they sort of sit in and shoot beam turrets at. But yeah, recreated a lot of these random contraptions and attached them to this set, and it really makes things feel more alive. But you can also soup up Minoru and the Seas construct. They've got attachment packs on their back, arms and front, meaning you can attach wooden boards, rockets, some of which come in the set, the spike ball for example, and some of the rockets do in a cannon, but you could attach a portable pot or a mirror light or a beam emitter, anything you want. Basically, you can attach anything to Minoru's hands. And then lastly is the constructs. Now, we talked briefly about this in the part 1.1, but let's actually commit to it now and go through it. I'm going to list out all the constructs that appear in their sets and tell you what fuses they initially have. Of course, you could add any fuses you want, any Zonai devices to their hands, but in Z067 Aerocuda Ambush, I'm giving one the Soldier 2 a flame emitter and the Soldier 3 a wooden board guster. In Z070 the Nocturne Menace, I'm giving the Captain 3 construct even, I'm giving him a hydrant. He's still keeping his bow. The Soldier 1 in Z074 The Great Skyland is staying empty, so that it's the most basic form. The Captain 1 in Stormwind Arc is getting an Ice Fruit sword and is keeping its bow. The Captain 2 construct in Los Gorondia's Showdown is getting bow stick and is also keeping his bow, so he's double wielding there. These ones are particularly stupid because the Soldier 3 in this set has a Horoblin spear as well, which is wooden and wouldn't make any sense in the Lava Volcano, but this is LEGO, so we're creative. And then in Z085 Zonai Construct Battle Pack, the Captain 1 has a shock emitter and its bow, and then the Soldier 2 has a rocket shield. So that was Ultrahand, but we're still not done. Let's take a look at the lookout landing combinations. This one pretty unchanged since the part 1 feedback, so I'll keep it brief. Z075, the lookout landing, and Z076, Hookah Cave Discovery, sit on top of each other. You can put the cave system under lookout landing and transfer between the two of them by dropping down into the secret bunker through the hole in the middle like you would expect, or dropping through the well into that portion of the caves, or you can get out of the caves by going over to this piece on the left here, which is the Ascend Simulator. I told you it was in here at some point, and you can ascend up through the ceiling if you don't have lookout landing, or if you do, you pop up through a trapdoor, just like the real feature in game. 3 of the 4 abilities, not bad if I do say myself, and I'm giving myself auto build as well, so technically 4 of the 5, because it basically counts. We basically have auto build here because it's building. But in addition, lookout landing can also be combined with other sets, not only just Secret Cave Discovery. You have Mubs' armor shop here, which can be upgraded and sort of display other Link armors as you collect other sets. Obviously, these sets come with a huge variety of Link's outfits, and you can add those to her armor shop so that she can be selling them. Here you can see the Froggy armor on display, which actually came in Secret Cave Discovery. And then, of course, we have the banners. The 4 banners here, which you get for completing a regional phenomena, and and in the Lego version you get one full piece in each of the boss sets. So that is Stormwind Dark, Zora's Domain, Muckrock Menace, Lost Gorondia Showdown, and Gibdo Queen's Hive. And you get these banners, and then that just kind of shows, not only does it make look at landing more complete, but it shows that you have collected another bit. So it's kind of just showing the prowess of your collection. And of course you could always display the sages who come with their banners on the platform there around, as if they're gathering just after the meeting at Hyrule Castle. But yeah, upgrading Lookout Landing and Secret Cave Discovery that connect together. And of course you could always add some Zonai stuff as well, although it's not heavily featured around there. We also have the Secret Stones. This is sort of the one that the wave is most well known for. There are 8 of them. They come in, I want to say 9 sets of the 18, and the goal is just like the Infinity Stones and the Golden Weapons, you collect them all. We talked that they could sit on Sonia's table, but mostly they are just collectibles. So of course we have the one for Tulin, Riju, Sidon, and Yunobo, but also Minoru's. We had Raru's Stone of Light in the Great Sky Island, and we had Ganondorf's Dark and Zelda's Time Light Stone, whichever one it was, I can't remember, in Demon Dragon Attacks. But the Sonia's Time Stone, for sure, Sonia's Time Stone does appear also in the Sonia polybag, meaning there's 2 of that stone there. It's confusing, even though that stone is 2 different people's stones, and actually one's Raru's and one's Ganondorf's. Look, we don't get into it. But yeah, 8 stones to collect, and there's 2 ways to get one of them. So yeah, they're in 9 sets. Still 8 sets. Still 8 sets, because 2 come in 1. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. We're still not done. As far as other combinations go, we have the Stormwind Arc with the Aerocuda attack set. You buy a couple of Aerocuda attacks and you get to build up the Rising Island chain, because these boats do actually have springy sails that you can jump on, so that's really, really cool. Obviously completely financially irresponsible, but it does look cool, so I do really like how it looks. The bosses and sages are also technically collectible. Again, I'm not worried about those right now because they actually come in the same sets as each other, but yes, they are collectible and desirable, so people would want those 4 sets. So those 4 sets would probably sell really well. We also have the aforementioned Construct Battle Pack and Sonia combo, which not only sit together to either make a shrine for your secret stones or recreate the memory if you bring in Raru from Great Sky Island, but also, of course, Construct Battle Pack has army building potential of the Zonai Hylians, and also I think more importantly, the constructs. Yes, they would all be quite Captain 1s and Soldier 2s. You can find a way around that, or you can get the horns off Bricklink, or just have a real big army of Soldier 2s, whatever you want. And then, as we talked about earlier, we also have character cross-pollination. This starts with the constructs, putting them in a variety of sets. Firstly, you can see here them populating Great Sky Island. Obviously, the Flux, Soldier 1 and Steward actually came in this set, but you've added 3 more around here just to fill out the island, and now it looks quite menacing. I've actually done this as well here with Bedrock Bistro, and this is, I think, the best example of this, because this Elden terrain actually looks like a place that you would find like a construct base that's fallen down from the sky. You see these in-game. So here you could just see like 5 of them menacingly hanging out, and even though it doesn't happen in this particular location, I do like having the constructs on the minecart because it's just funny to me, so you can imagine Link coming through here and fighting. Anyway, just taking your constructs from the other sets and putting them to good use. Similarly, we have them all over Lost Gorondia Showdown. This one's so funny to me. I don't know why I put so many on here, but there's like 9 of them here, more than you ever get in the set, unless you bought duplicates, of course. And they just look like they're a theme park. It looks utterly ridiculous, but it'd be great for to launch out, or it's just silly fun. There's probably this many constructs in Lost Gorondia in the real game, but obviously in Lego space it looks ridiculous, but it is funny to me. And then I've also got this crew of pirates here where there's like 6 of them on the Stormwind Arc. It's fun. I like it. It's cute. It's just silly. You want to use your constructs all around, because they are all over Hyrule. So I think it's appropriate. We also have the Hylians being used for monster control crews. These are again fighting off with monsters, and you can see them here aiming up against this monster crowd. Now, obviously, a lot of these guys don't actually fight, but they do all fit the aesthetic. So not only are we sort of building up a Hylian aesthetic here, but we also have a bit of monster control energy. Specifically, Scorpus and Numar here look absolutely perfect for it. Kosi as well, I guess, too. But obviously, like Tracy, Loon, Cedra's not even canon. Farah, Addison, and Carson never fought. But yeah, they're led here by Desert Link, and on the other side, you've got a host of some of the monsters that featured in this wave. Some Bokos, Gibdos, Horoblins, Lizalfos, Chews, Boss Bokoblin, and an Aerocuda as well. It's just supposed to give you an idea that you can bring these Hylians together, and they're kind of like a militia force, especially if you forgo canon. So yeah, think of that what you will, but again, it's something interesting. And then of course, as far as cross-pollination goes, I already talked about the Yunobo crossover, where you can just put figures anywhere, and who doesn't want to have like their own mixed up story? These figures are figures. They are meant to be used and spread around. In fact, some of that actually goes beyond the wave, of course. Let's take a look at a couple of groups you can put together if you have some of our other custom sets. Now obviously this isn't finished yet, so take of it as you will, but let's take a look at that. First up, we have all the Link outfits. These are just from the Tears of the Kingdom sets. I can actually show you. Here is every Link that I've drawn so far. Ooh, shiny. But these are the ones from this wave. There are a couple here that are duplicated. If you bought all the sets, you would get 2 Champions Leathers links, but they're not shown here. And I've got the Frostbite Tunic on here twice. It only does show up once, but I drew it twice, so I'm making the most of that second drawing I did. But yeah, Frostbite Charged, an Ember set, Hero of the Wild, Snowquill, that's Champions Leathers, Zonite set, Froggy set, the No Armor set, the Desert Voe set, the Hylian Trousers Only from Final Catch, Soldier set, Archaic set, and Glide set. That's a lot of different link outfits for this wave. Way too many. Shouldn't have happened. We also have the Champions and the Sages. Of course, the Champions came in their Wave 2 and Wave 3 Divine Beast Microfighters, respectively. I know these figures need an update. I will do them to make these guys look better. Is it just poor Mifa? Like, look at her. She looks cross-eyed. It's awful. But yeah, here they are with their descendants. This was always going to happen eventually, even if Tears didn't feature them. But yeah, we get it early because Tears of the Kingdom came out. Here we have our complete Goron lineup. 3 of them are from this wave, which is actually really interesting. And then we have the remastered Darunia from CMF Series 1. We have Cook, Gomo, Yunobo, and Darunia, and they're going to be joined by a new one very soon. Stay tuned for that. We have our Ganondorfs and Zeldas. Not all the Zeldas, obviously. I have like 3 or 4 from the Breath of the Wild variants. Snowquill set and her royal robes and the praying dress as well, but this is just 1 Zelda per game, 1 Ganondorf per game, and then the dragons as well, so you can see them all lined up here. You've got a pretty good collection now. Calamity Ganon skulking around the bottom. We have our Gibdos Redeads here, Redead from Ocarina and Twilight Princess, and then the 2 Gibdos from this game. There will be more eventually, and I'm not going to be featuring the Lizalfos and the Bokoblin and the Moblins in this section, but the Bokoblin family has actually gotten pretty big recently, so let's just take a quick look through this. Of course, we have the Red, Blue, Black, Silver, and Gloom, as well as the Staukoblin and the Stauhead. But we also have the Twilight Princess Bublin and the Technoblin and Curse Boko here as well from Skyward Sword. So all looking pretty good. Pretty expansive family now as well. Most of them using the same head mold, of course, for consistency, but then 3 special ones. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I mentioned the Froxes earlier, so here's that image again. Just Frox with Obsidian Frox and their little baby Froxes. Cute. Like it a lot. And then some random pairings that I thought might be interesting. We've got Raru and Raru, very different people, clearly. We have Cass and Pen. They are obviously related to each other. Well, not physically, but they are. Each other's got the same role in the games. And then, of course, we have Baby Pura and then Normal Pura from Breath of the Wild and then Tears of the Kingdom. And I didn't put the AOC one in here because it is not canon, even though it is in a custom set. Back to grouping things now. Let's take a quick look at the group shots for the boxes. You've already seen the part 1 one, which is what's been on your screen, but here is the part 2 one. This is a distinguishation we only really made for YouTube videos, specifically splitting them into part 1 and part 2. In my head, they are an 18 set wave, so while this is a cool image of these 8, the most interesting one is, of course, the full 18 set image here, which, yeah, looks spectacular. Imagine coming home from a store with that. Yes, it's too many sets. I know 18 is too big for a wave, but the game was just too good. So maybe it is better to think of it as 2 separate waves, but I'm not doing that because it will mess with the plan. Anyway, yeah, so wave 8, just like we've seen for wave 1, 2, 3, and hopefully soon 4, here we are, all the sets stacked up together, and I'm really pleased with this box art. I really do like it. Lookout works so much better as the 18 plus box art, even though it should be a 14 plus set. We've talked about that at length. I'm not going into it again, I promise. But yeah, here's all 18 sets together. Looks incredible. Really, really big fan of that. And similarly, we have the figure groupings as well. So again, the part 1 figure grouping, which you saw in the last video. Big change here being that I've now actually done the drawn outlines for all of the bigger monsters. Yeah, I had to do it. You'll see why later. But anyway, everything's consistent now. And then, of course, we've got the part 2 one, looking a little sparse without Lookout Landing, which is a really figure-heavy set. The figures in part 2 were a little lackluster, less going on here. But most of them actually look lots of big builds. But yeah, only about like dozen and a half here, so not too bad. And then, of course, the important one is the group shot with everybody together across all 18 sets. It's a pretty big lineup. It definitely rivals like Wave 2, Wave 3 for number of figures here. They're cohesive. I love them. They're great. It's such a good character roster in this wave and in these games, and I was able to cover so much ground, and yet there is, of course, ground missing, specifically in Link outfits. If I just quickly think about it, we've got what? The Mystic armor's missing, and the Miner's armor's missing, the CC hat. And those are the big 3, I think. The Mystic and Miners specifically, they didn't happen because they would have required new molds and my mold budget this way, because of course these custom sets are done as if they're sort of like real Lego sets within my 5% rule, where I set myself a price beforehand. I know how many molds I've done, mold recolors I'm allowed for the whole wave, and I try and use existing parts whenever possible. So yeah, it's just something to be aware of. I would have done them if I can. I think 2 of them, or at least one of them, is locked down for the Fan Choice CMF series whenever we get around to doing that. So that will happen eventually. Couple of loose ends as we're about halfway through. We've got all of these sages grouped together here and all of the bosses. Just, yeah, cool renders to see them all together. I particularly like the bosses. I would love to have those all in real life. At the moment I only have Colgera, but specifically Muktarok. I know Marble Gome is possible. I need to do her now-ish, but Muktarok I would really love to see. We also have the group shots of the constructs all together, looking fire, with our Flux and our Steward, and then our captains 1 to 3 and our soldiers 1 to 3. Didn't do 4. We've got the Muktarok leading his other armies of Octoroks, which will be featured in the Wave 4 sets. They're using the same headpiece, but Muktarok uses the Dreamling body in dark purple. It's just cool. I like it a lot. We have Koga now leading his Yiga. Believe it or not, Koga is going to feature in Wave 5, but this is technically the first time we're seeing him, so here he is leading his Blade Masters and Foot Soldiers, and of course Suga, who appeared in the Wave 3 sets. We have our 3 main new characters for Tears of the Kingdom in the form of Minoru, Rauru, and Sonya, our Zonai gang, although one of them is not Zonai, but yep, here they are together. I just thought it was good to see. And Queen Gibdo with her Gibdos. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. I like this display stand that's posable for the Gibdos, even though you only get 2 in the set. We've got 3 here, don't worry about it. And then of course we actually have the elemental sets as well linked together. We showed you this image, but it was still blacked out in the part 1 version, but yep, here it is. Now we also have Tulin, and there's my secondary render for the Frostbite set, with the Blacklist dress that's diving towards Colgera. And opposite kind of dive, we have Link and Zelda going to catch each other. Well, Link's going to catch her from the fun dive. I also wanted to bring up that the 3 elemental fruits are featured in these sets. I showed them earlier on the Fuse page, but we had the Fire Fruit in the Gleeok set, we had the Shock Fruit in the Gibdo and the Zora set, which is actually reusing the Peach element that was developed for Monkey Kid that's now being used as like, I don't know, like pears or like melons in like City and then soon Animal Crossing. It's in the highlighter neon yellow color, although it's coming in light yellow in official sets already, which is great because like I can have it officially and say it's a Shock Fruit. And then of course we have the Ice Fruit here using the like ice cream piece upside down. So one thing I actually just did, we're starting this for this wave, but I will be doing it for the classic games eventually, is combo packs. This is something that Costco and other wholesaler food places do. I've got 2 of them here where we basically combine a couple of sets into one that are thematically appropriate and you sell it for a slight discount. First one is Z00C1. This is the Zonai Might Super Pack. This is an EX set, basically it's not canon, but I wanted to do it anyway. You can see here that it includes Sonya's Tea Time, the Construct Battle Pack, and the Minoru set. Just supposed to be showing the like power of like the constructs and like bringing them together, like what the Zonais could accomplish. Personally, I wanted to include Ultra and Creativity Toolbox in this one, but I felt that it wasn't cohesive enough as a multi-pack. You'll see why later. But yeah, you've got Minoru, you've got the actual constructs armoring up for war and the Hylian Zonais to protect Sonya. Of course, those 2 sets connect together, so they made sense to have it. Sonya is the old one out, unfortunately, but I like how they connect, so I like that as a combination. And the second one's a 00C2, the Sky Adventures Super Pack. This one themed around the idea of flight. You've got Erakuda Assault, Erakuda Ambush even, and Ultra and Creativity Toolbox as the 2 here, and this is a 2-in-1. The idea here being that Erakuda provides the area for you to explore and like you're trying to make your way up, and then you create your method of elevating yourself or flying around, and you've got that flight and ground obviously in Erakuda, using Ultra and Creativity Toolbox to create ways to soar and move around. So like one is the location and one is basically the vehicles here, all about getting around the sky. You could argue Great Skyline could be in here, but they don't tend to put sets over £50 or $50 in these packs unless it was the Mario Luigi double pack or it's a huge one, but I'm saving the huge ones for when we look at wave 1 to 4. So again, we'll do something with those eventually. Some more set groupings for you. Here we have all the depth sets. I showed you one before that was just the Hideout Frox and the Koga set. However, I've added Seas Construct Showdown, or Knockout, and Los Garandia here to complete the set. And I was actually surprised about this one. It actually felt a lot more fleshed out. I really liked the old depths render. I was expecting that when I included Los Garandia, it would look really funny because it's obviously lava and they're taking you in different places. But no, it works really well. So here's every depth set if you were playing with them all on the floor, if you collected them all. And then of course we have the same for the surface here, featuring Lookout Landing and Secret Cave Discovery. This is very much a caves and surface kind of thing, which gets a little awkward when we talk about Bedrock Bistro in the top right corner, which is the same height as Secret Cave Discovery, but now its caves are supposed to be on the surface, but put it out to perspective. But yeah, we've got one for each of the regions here. I didn't realize I did so little regional surface stuff for Tears, but then again, I'm going to cover lots of it from the Breath of the Wild sets anyway, so it will get done. Over on the far right, of course, we have the Zora's Domain one, and then over on the left-hand side, we have Sonya's gazebo in the middle of kind of nowhere. We've got a little representation of Ultra and Creativity toolbox with Link's car from the trailer, and of course we have the Queen Gibdo in the desert, and then these Hebra set with the Aracuda set up there. And then of course we've done depths, we've done surface, so it's sky time. This one's also about equally crowded. Actually, they kind of like spread out the wave pretty evenly. We've got Colgera flying around the Stormwind Dark, which is surrounded by the Rising Island chain of smaller boats. A Gleeok is flying near its Sky Island, and of course Great Sky Island is over there in the distance, looming high above everything. We have a random wing that's soaring across. Maybe Link has abandoned that one and gone paragliding. And then the two Demon Dragon and Light Dragon are fighting as well. Yeah, these combine in different ways. It's kind of cool, actually. I just like seeing them as kind of like play setups on the floor, as if you imagine that they were actually in use, which is neat. Yeah, that's exactly what you want for play sets, so that's great. Next up, we have, back to figures for a bit, we have the Wave posters. Again, I showed you the part 1 one before. Here's the part 2 one. This one's messy, there's less figures to work with, so I chose to be a little bit quirky with it and add the dragons going across, try and be different. I don't like how it turned out, but it's here. Cool. And then of course the actual one that needs to be proper and fit the style is the main Wave 8 one, which is what you're seeing now. This one goes perfectly with the Wave 1, 2 and 3, and basically only contains the main cast. Hopefully we'll have that one for Wave 4 soon. I really want to finish Wave 4, I've said it so many times. I also have a compendium that I've been working on. I've been doing this just out of curiosity, but let's just quickly go through it. Basically, I have 5 pages here which feature, well, the exact layout of the compendium as it's seen in Tears of the Kingdom, and every figure that I have currently drawn in its Tears variant, so that means none of the Breath of the Wild horns, which you won't see like Green Lizalfos on here, we have them all here. So obviously grey ones are missing, but we have the Ice Chew, obviously was in Legendary Storm Dark, but the Electric Chew, for example, was one that came in Tower of the Gods in Wave 3. And the same is true for the Ice Keese, who features in the remastered Ice Battle Pack. And I know some of you are going to say that that is the Wind Waker Chew. I know, I like the design more, and it's easy to build in Lego and is recognizable. So I'm not building Breath of the Wild Blob Chews. But we've got all 5 Octos here, which will all feature in sets eventually, but none of them have come out yet. Ice Wizard from Wave 4, like of course. Then onto our second page, we have Aracuda, Gibdo, Moth Gibdo, Red, Blue, Black, Stal and Silver Bokoblins, Blue Bosporokoblin, Red and Black Moblins, a Stal Lizalfos, and then an Electric Lizalfos. As mentioned, all the other Lizalfos are in the Breath of the Wild variant, so I need to get around to doing that. The Horriblin and the Black Horriblin, Soldiers 1 to 3, Captains 1 to 3, Flux, the Eager Foot Soldier, Koga, Battle Talus, the 3 Hinoxes and Stalnox. Okay, those ones are the Breath of the Wild variants. I'm not redoing those just for tiny horns, so fight me. King Gleeok, Little Frox, and Obsidian Frox. I'm scared of doing Blue-White Frox, that's for sure. Nadra from Wave 4, looking useless. Colgera, Marbled Goma, Sludge-like, Muckrock, Queen Gibdo, Seas Construct, Phantom Ganondorf, Demon King Ganondorf, No for Phase 2, and then Demon and Light Dragon as well. It is my full intention to finish this one day. I would like to fill in most of these gaps, mostly because most of them are colour swaps, so it'd be really easy. Ones like Moragia scare me, but lots of these are super easy, so maybe we'll do that as a video in the future, filling out the table. Some of them will appear in sets, obviously. Like I plan for like all the ones that you've seen that haven't appeared in sets will appear in sets, and some of these are definitely planned. Like Molduga is going to happen, and I don't know, like the other Gleeoks won't be happening, but it would be really easy to show them in their finished form. So yeah, that'll be a fun video to do in the future, completing the Tears of the Kingdom compendium in Lego form. Couple of last group ones to take a look at. Here I've actually taken some sets from previous waves, featuring particularly the Wave 3 Divine Beast Microfighters, because I realised that the terrain that we'd set up for Zora's Domain and the Bedrock Bistro was actually very similar to where these beasts are actually parked. So when I was looking through thinking what combinations we could make, yeah, this one came to mind. So yeah, just remove the Sky Islands and the Addison sign, and you've got 2 perfect Divine Beast displays here, which I think is a cool touch. Yeah, not certainly expected, not in scale at all, obviously, but it's cute, right? They're the correct terrains, and I kind of means I want to do ones for the other 2, but you're not going to catch me building a desert anytime soon, and obviously meadow flies, so that's a moot point. But I did think it was nice that you could actually pose these here, and it kind of makes actually some thematic sense. Specifically, Ruta, I think, looks absolutely great up there, especially if you remove those bits of floating rock that are around her as well. So yeah, that was another little surprise one. Next up, I have the dragons here. This is a bit of a bad angle to show this off, but my goal was actually to show you guys the scale and size difference between them, because we talked about this in the video about how Nadra was absolutely too massive, and if I did the Demon Dragon at Nadra scale or even larger, there'd be no room to do the Light Dragon in the set, and also the Demon Dragon would not hold its own weight. Nadra won't even hold her own weight. Current Demon Dragon might not even hold its own weight. You know, this is all up for debate. But anyway, Nadra, longest and thickest. Demon Dragon just ever so slightly smaller. They're very much at the same kind of scale. Nadra really should be smaller. She really should be. And then obviously those came out 4 waves apart, because one's a wave 4 set and one's a wave 8 set, so 5, 6 and 7 come in between. We also have, of course, then Light and Volvagia here. Interesting comparison. They're actually about the same length. Volvagia being slightly shorter, although Light Dragon has a longer head, so that might explain that. But yeah, another two smaller worm ones, although Light Dragon much simpler because Volvagia uses more pieces. And then, of course, at the other end we have Gleok, who's not a worm dragon at all, but it's still here. It's taller and stockier, obviously. But yeah, here's all the dragons in a row. I should really do a top-down one. I think I'll save that for after we sort out Twin Mold, and I'm sure there's more dragons coming up. There's so many dragons. But yeah, I'll sort that out later down the line when we have more of them, I think, and I'll do a proper one of these again. I also have this cool one. This is a combination of what I'm calling Mega Hyrule Field. It's not accurate at all because we have the pre-Calamity Castle Town, the Tears of the Kingdom Lookout Landing, and then the Breath of the Wild Calamity Hyrule Castle. So, but it does look cool together. Specifically, the castle and Lookout Landing. They're both such large models at this point because obviously this castle is a combination of the Sanctum Wall sections, the Castle Troops Battle Pack, the Gatehouse, and not Gatehouse, Front Gate, and then the Lockup. Gatehouse is still coming. And yeah, they just look really great together. This is just really cool. And then of course got Secret Cave Discovery underneath. This is just a big render. There's just a lot going on, but I appreciate it. It's really dense, which is cool. Yeah. Naturally, of course, there are plenty of Breath of the Wild sets and places and figures that can be combined together. We've already looked at a couple, Yeagers and Civilians and so on, so I'm not going to waste any more time on it, but it is just worth noting. Let's talk about some of the stuff I cut and some prototypes now, but before we do and wrap up, I just wanted to read some testimonies that I had from some of you guys when asked about your favourite set from this wave. So, from Extra Credit, who chose Lookout Landing for the amount of details on it as well as the size. I also just love when sets combine together for a larger one. And just likes Lookout Landing in game. Yeah, good point. Lookout Landing is a big favourite of people's. Personally, I have some gripes with it, unfortunately, mostly because it's not a realistic custom set, which means it's kind of defeating the point of doing this project, but it is a lot of what people would hope to see, even if I don't believe it's accurate in the slightest. However, it coming together to be this central gimmick is something I'm very proud of, and I'm really glad how well it connects with Secret Cave Discovery and the other sets in the wave. So yeah, good choice. From Cara Laura, we have a pick for Ultra Hand Creativity Toolbox. It would be the reason for LEGO to do a Tears of the Kingdom line. It dovetails perfectly with their mission statement and was such a major part of the game. Absolutely. That's why the set makes perfect sense. Just like a Minecraft crafting box or a Super Mario expansion maker, one of those sets where they give you parts to do your own thing. But yeah, it allows you to do so much more on its own, but also with all the other sets, and it enhances every build it goes with, and I hope I've conveyed that here today. And from Queen of the Sea, we have two picks for Sonia's Tea Time and the Construct Battle Pack. If I had to pick one, going with the Battle Pack just because of how much you get, but both of them have really well made builds despite being so simple. Yep, cheap price points are important. The minifigures are also a highlight. Smaller, cheaper sets are an important thing to get right in a LEGO wave, and I think that both these sets are excellent examples of that idea. Yes, absolutely. Small sets are crucial to a custom wave of sets because it's not just about the big ones that everyone, that all the fans want. It's about the small, cheap entry points that cover a wide variety but still give something desirable too. Specifically, I like the Battle Pack because it gives you an option to get constructs on the cheap and obviously build lots of them if you want a full-up army, because we see a lot of them in Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, it's great. I love the set. And Sonia as well. I have a specific soft spot for that poly bag. I'd go watch that video personally. It's an underrated video if you guys want to learn more about those two sets. But thank you guys for sharing those with us. Let's talk about some prototypes now. Save these for the end. Potentially should have done them at the beginning. But first we have these sketches that I made in the development of the wave. And I don't often show these off. They're going to be featured eventually. But let's take a quick look through these. The first one is an early model for Great Sky Island. This one's actually based off the trailer, the same time that I did Battle Talus Takedown, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, this features two islands with the Torii Gate on one and a tree going over the edge, and then a second island that's much higher up with one of the like square little shrines. This is a concept I'm happy to revisit, honestly. I think I'm going to do more Great Sky Island sets. I feel it's one of those concepts like in LEGO Harry Potter where they revisit stuff like Hagrid's Hut, or in Star Wars even, where they revisit Luke's Land Speeder every couple of years. And I have an interesting video idea for it, and it's going to be about 3 or 4 sets. But yeah, that was a sketch model that got abandoned. Pretty much everything about that changed, mostly because the game changed. But yeah, it's a cool sketch nonetheless. I'm going to be using it eventually. We also have this one for the constructs. This was me planning out how they were going to work, what prints I needed, whether I was going to use specialized pieces for the horns. You can see at the top, actually, the most interesting part here is me planning out the positive and negative stud connections for the flux construct cubes so that you could rearrange them in any combination and make the 3 forms of the construct easily. Obviously, working out ideally that the 3 passes need to be in a C shape shape, and then the 3 minuses interlock in the other C shape so that you can do whatever you need. But yeah, experimenting with some different ideas. Back when we were going to use eggs on the steward's ears, wedge plates for the sort of the front of the head, but in a completely different orientation instead of building it snot-wise like I ended up doing. But I did all of the construct design work before we started on any of the sets. In fact, I had all of them and the flux done first to know if this was even going to work as a concept, or whether I was going to have to scale back. Similarly, we have one from Minoru, which actually is more interesting for showing the images of the part. This was actually sort of a cyclical development cycle where I knew I wanted this new part, or needed this new part for the bottom of the stewards and for Minoru to make this like ring element, but how was I actually going to connect it? What was I going to need? I knew that because it was a steward construct part mostly, I needed it to have the sort of rounded circles at the front, at the bottom, but I knew I wanted to be able to turn it around to the back so that it looked like a complete ring for characters like Minoru. So it was a dual focus piece, and the attachment art ended up being a bar, which wasn't originally planned for the steward construct. It was originally going to be a stud connection, but when I realized I wanted a bar hole through it, it then influenced the design of the steward, which then changed the design of the ring, and basically through trial and error and working backwards and forwards, it modified it all. But you can also see the vague layout for Minoru here. Obviously there's no head, but it's showing you which parts I'm going to use, like a ring, and then I'm going to use a cone on a stud, and you can see the bars and how it's going around, and then you've got that dish in front as well, and you can even leave a little sketch here showing the posability plan. So yeah, just me trying to figure out how Minoru was going to work, because she was designed pretty early on as well. We have this one here, which is for the Fire Temple Los Gorondia, which shows all the play features. This sketch was done actually very late into development, as in I let the Fire Temple cook for a very long time in my head. The idea was fully formed and the list of play features was complete. So I basically bathed it out onto a paper, saw what it looked like, and then actually just translated it into Studio. In that way, it was one of the easiest to design because it basically didn't change after this sketch. All of that sort of anxiety about what it was going to look like and decisions were made before I even put pen to paper. So it's almost a finished model sketch. That's all the sketches I have, but I did just mention I was going to talk about the Battle Talus and the Calamity Cave Collapse, 2 sets that I made around the launch of Tears of the Kingdom for the trailer. Now, Calamity Cave Collapse has been decanonized. It's no longer considered a custom set. It's part of the EX branding. I didn't want to just get rid of it because I still like a lot of what's going on there, but because it was based off trailers and most of what is seen there doesn't actually happen, I'm not willing to include it as an actual set spot in the waves. Now, you could argue that LEGO does this all the time, is based off pre-release material from their partners like in Star Wars. However, no, I'm just going to put it as an EX set and remove it. The 9 waves need to be pretty compact, and I think it's not really well suited. But yeah, it hasn't been removed. It is just now given a new number, which I believe is EX009. We also have the Battle Talus Takedown, which has not been decanonized, but it also does not have a set number, and its box art and figures are currently out of date. This set is actually going to be coming in Wave 6. Again, I know it's super confusing, but this Tears of the Kingdom wave was supposed to be at the very end of the custom set project, meaning it is labeled as Wave 8, meaning any new molds seen in Waves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 actually come chronologically before what you see here, meaning when Master Koga appears in his Wave 5 sets, that will be his first appearance instead of here. The same is true for Battle Talus Takedown. Being part of Wave 6 means it will come out in the lead up to Tears of the Kingdom, when they did only have the trailers to go off and they just sort of modified an existing model last minute to catch hype. It comes out about a year canonically before this wave here, that is the Kingdom wave. So it will be given Wave 6 box art, and the figures will be updated because the horns are inaccurate and there's a load of wrong with it. But anyway, we will find, and you will see it again with a new number and a new box art in Wave 6 and a brand new video as well. I just wanted to mention them because I know some people associate them with the wave, but yeah, technically that would make it 20 sets, but yeah, no, those don't count. I've done a couple of fixes to a variety of things. I mentioned obviously the changes to some of the sets earlier, but we fixed Pasty Link. The Archaic Tunic original one was not using official LEGO colours. Don't know why. It is now. Anyway, it's here. I also, of course, for all these 18 sets, I fixed the minifigure horns. Originally, they were based off the trailer, so the horn pack that we had in Battle Talus Takedown and that you're seeing on your screen now was out of date. So updated this to fix it, but this was all done before, well, the game basically was even out at this point. We've got a couple of cut features that I wanted to talk about. I cut a steward construct from Zonai Battle Pack, the construct one. Yeah, this makes sense. The set is already full with that gazebo and 2 constructs. You don't need a steward, and stewards already appear in cheap sets. The reasoning was there's one that appears in the gazebo scene, so I considered either putting it in the battle pack or the Sonya polybag, but the Sonya polybag obviously can't go above like 65 pieces, so no room for a steward. But the steward does also come in Depths Defying Master Koga and Grace Garden, so you're going to be getting your hands on one, so not worried. But yep, just wanted to let you guys know he was cut. You can be angry about that if you want. I also cut a Firelike from Los Scarondia or Bedrock Bistro. I had not decided which one I wanted it in, but the goal was to have a fire-like in the similar build style to the one in Secret Cave Discovery, but obviously in the right colours, that could launch flames, or like fireballs that from the Heatwave Transforming Lava Dragon, exactly what Demon Dragon has, but they would launch out from there, and they would spread around the room. And I don't know why specifically, but I'm really hung up on this to the point where I may go back and add it one day, but we're going to leave it for now. But yes, fire-like was also cut from one of these sets. I also cut an Ascend feature from Bistro. It was going to be very similar to Secret Cave Discovery, that at the end of the mine track there would be a way for you to push Link up through the ceiling. To be honest, I think I forgot about this one. Either that or Parts Budget got me, but I don't remember adding this, so I feel like I just forgot and then remembered in the after effect. Another problem with Bedrock Bistro. It's just unfortunate. That set really got all my tiredness, apparently. I also cut a shrine. Yes, I have a fully designed Tears of the Kingdom shrine, which you're seeing here. It has the grey thing around the back, even a row of green plate around the inside of the door to represent the sort of like the energy that's there, and then of course the base as well. Yeah, this was fully designed and finished. This was actually in Z007 Ultra Creativity Toolbox up until the set was finished, and as I started designing Zono devices, I just realised that the set was way too big for the price point and I had to cut it. So yeah, it doesn't really fit anywhere else. It's never going to be used. I don't regret not including it, but yeah, this is just a finished build that I had and it was removed, and to be honest, the set is better for it. But yeah, there was nearly a shrine in Z077. An actual cut set entirely was the Zonite art glyphs. These would have been based off the glyphs that are where the memories are found. They're pretty iconic, but not really something you'd want to display as an art form. But this was very much a dot set, kind of inspired by the Disney 100 Celebration art, where you could build all those characters. Like, just imagine like a 16 by 16 plate with a load of curvy lines on representing the geoglyphs. Yeah, not a great set concept. I like the idea. I will be doing the idea as an EX set eventually, I think. But yeah, I don't think that would have sold well, so glad it's not taking up one of my 18 spots here, although it would have been nice to have a non-play set here, something quirky, something different, because we actually don't have that in this wave, and there's technically no real 18 plus set. I know Lookout's 18 plus, but it should be 14 again. But yeah, no, that was cut as well. I think I have a few one-off custom sets for Tears left in me. Obviously, the custom set's not stopping anytime soon. We've got Wave 4 to finish, I've got Clocktown on the horizon, and of course Waves 5, 6, 7, and 9. We've got plenty of time left and plenty more Zelda sets. And there's also plenty more EX sets, but also just one-off sets. Sets that get proper numbering, so like Z095, for example, which is coming very soon. And these are sets with proper numbering that I do see as potential set candidates, but come out in between waves. A good example of this is Arbiter's Grounds and Take Back the Sea. They're not Wave 4 sets, they're not Wave 3 sets, same as Hyrule Botanical Collection. None of these were in a wave, but they are indeed proper custom sets, and they are part of this series. So there's plenty more to come. So I reckon we're approaching 100 sets. It's got at least 150, 160, I think, probably by the time we're done. Maybe even more. It depends on stuff like Echoes of Wisdom and how many of my whimsical ideas I want to actually pursue. So we'll see. But specifically, I think I have a few Tears of the Kingdom sets left in me. Spread out ones. There'll be one-offs, like I just said about Arbiter's Grounds, as in like they won't be part of the main Wave 9 numbering, so that I don't have to give them a release date and explain why they came out so far away from these other 18 sets, but it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, I've got one or two more ideas that I want to pursue with Tears, I think. But yeah, apart from that, I'm going to space them out, we'll leave them alone. I really want to build from the classic games again. You've already been seeing that with Temple of Time. As I said, Clocktown's finished, it's coming. And there's plenty more games that I want to cover. I've got everything planned. It's all locked in. Everything is decided upon. And hopefully we can cover a lot more of it before the end of the year. And of course going into 2025, although I've got a Decretry to deal with very, very soon. Right, we'll leave it there then. Let me know what you thought of this wave down below, and of course your favourite feature from this wave. Doesn't have to be favourite, but just something you thought was different. This custom wave does a lot different from even my own previous work, and while I never like to claim that it's like superior in any way, because it's not, everybody adds their own takes and interests to different things, but I do think this one does a lot for synergy. The way these sets are connected is unlike anything I've seen before, and almost every aspect of every one of them links with another. Link, get the pun. So let me know what you thought down below, and of course if you have a favourite of the 18 sets, let me know that down below. I hope you're looking forward to Clocktown and of course the Decretry content coming up on this channel very, very soon, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.